Okay, let's unpack this. We are taking a look at a stack of, well, incredibly practical sources focused on one of the most crucial parts of everyday connection,
Hmm.
how to talk about your day in English. I mean, if you, like probably 90% of people, often just say fine or maybe busy when someone asks, how was your day? This deep dive is definitely for you. It's a shortcut, really.
Absolutely. And our mission today, it isn't just about practicing the language, is it? It's more about unlocking um, genuine connection.
Right.
We're trying to move beyond that simple one-word answer, which, let's be honest, is often just a way to sidestep the conversation.
Totally. A deflection.
Exactly, to build a succinct but memorable narrative. And the sourcing we looked at, they provide this really neat three-part toolkit. It helps transform that, factual report into an actual human story, something people actually want to hear.
Yeah, and the structure we're going to explore, it's simple, but really quite powerful. We need those chronological details first off.
Hmm.
Then we need the right flow, using what the sources call connectors. And critically, we need that emotional depth, sharing how you actually felt.
That combination, that's what tells your listener you're really engaging, not just reciting facts. So let's jump in with the foundation.
Okay, the foundation. As the sources lay it out, it's all about structure. And the most logical way to structure something that unfolds over time is, well, chronologically.
Makes sense.
Going from morning to night, it just gives you an immediate framework. So you, the listener, you don't panic or kind of jump around.
And what's really interesting here is thinking about the cognitive benefit. We often talk about structure for the listener, right?
Yeah.
But chronology, it
Yeah.
fundamentally helps the speaker too. By just splitting the day into three parts, morning, afternoon, evening, you instantly cut down that mental effort.
Oh, right. Less overwhelming.
Exactly. You're not trying to recall 12 hours all at once. You're just thinking, okay, morning box, afternoon box, evening box. Much easier.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. And the sources, they give great, really clear examples for the sort of baseline details for each part.
I do.
Like the morning, it sets the rhythm, usually small things, stuff you repeat like, I woke up at 7, took a shower, and had breakfast. Simple.
Hmm.
Grounds the listener straight away.
And that morning bit, it acts like an anchor, shows some stability.
Mhm.
Then the story moves pretty smoothly into the afternoon.
Which is usually the main part.
Typically, yeah.
Yeah.
It's got the major tasks or activities. The example they use is super relatable. I went to work and had a meeting with my team. That's like the narrative peak for many people.
Okay. And then you wrap it up with the evening. The sources suggest ending with, like, domestic stuff, winding down.
Provides closure.
Uh-huh. Like,
Yeah.
I came home, made dinner, watched a movie, and went to bed.
Right.
And using these kinds of observable, concrete actions, it just makes sure your conversation starts grounded. In reality, before you even touch on feelings or anything complex, you've given the listener a clear timeline. Context. Makes it easy to follow. Which, yeah, that's half the battle, isn't it?
Definitely.
Okay, so we've got the skeleton. The chronological structure feels solid, but here's where, for me, it gets really interesting, because just listing events, even in order, can still sound a bit robotic.
Yeah, choppy. Like a bullet list read aloud.
Exactly. So the key to sounding natural, it lies in the flow. And that flow depends on the glue, as you called it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the glue. These little transition words, the
Yeah.
connectors, they really are the difference. Reciting facts versus telling a story.
Okay.
We looked at the most common ones the sources suggest for conversation, and honestly, it kind of boils down to four main ones. Then, after that, later and finally.
Only 4. I mean, part of me wants to ask why not, more sophisticated words like subsequently or following that. Are these 4 really enough for most conversations?
That's a great question. And yes, the sources pretty much imply they are, for this specific context. Think about casual chat. Complexity can actually get in the way. Those more academic words, subsequently, they can sound a bit stiff, maybe overly formal when you're just talking about your day.
Yeah, I can see that being a bit jarring.
Right. Whereas then, after that, later, and finally. They're like the workhorses. They're efficient, they're signposts guiding the listener, but they don't make you pause and search for some fancy word. They keep it moving.
Okay, that makes sense. Conversational momentum. So let's see the difference. Without them, it might be, I woke up late. I hurried to work. I had lunch with a friend. Kind of flat.
Exactly. But listen to how it changes with just one or two connectors, like in the example. I woke up late, then I hurried to work. After that, I had lunch with a friend.
Yeah. It just flows better. Feels connected. That small change, it adds rhythm. You feel the rush, then the pause for lunch.
It creates that seamless timeline. Now, one thing the sources do warn about is relying too heavily on just one, like then.
Oh, the then trap. Then I did this, then I did that.
Exactly. It gets repetitive fast. You lose the listener. That's why you need the others, like after that and later, to mix it up.
Right. Vary it a bit.
Yeah. So a practical tip is to consciously try using later, maybe for something mid-afternoon, and save finally for that last thing before bed.
That's a good nuance. Finally does sound like an endpoint. Completion, maybe even relief sometimes.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It carries that weight. Honestly, if you only take one thing away, practicing just these 4 simple connectors, it will immediately make your daily recap sound smoother.
Okay, good takeaway. Let's move to the third element then, which honestly feels like the most crucial one. Adding depth. We've got the structure, we've got the flow, but if we don't talk about how you felt, well, it's still just a report, right?
Exactly. And this brings up a really important point. Why bother with feelings? Why not just stick to the facts?
Yeah, why?
Because everyday conversation, it's fundamentally about emotion. Shared experience. It's not just data transfer. When I ask how your day was, I'm not really looking for a timesheet. I'm looking for a little window into, your state of mind so I can connect, maybe empathize.
That makes sense. I know I often just say, it was busy, which is true, factually, but it tells the other person absolutely nothing about how I experience that busyness.
And that's the exact conversational wall we're trying to help people break down.
Yeah.
Sharing your emotional state, tired, excited, stressed, whatever.
Yeah.
That's the step that really builds connection.
Okay. And the sources, they gave 2 really good, distinct examples showing the range here. The first one was about a productive, busy day, but it framed it positively.
Right. It acknowledges the challenge, but focuses on the feeling. It was a busy day, but I felt happy and productive.
I like that. Happy and productive.
Yeah. It reframes busy from something potentially negative into something engaging and successful. You sound satisfied, not just overwhelmed.
And the second example was kind of the opposite, wasn't it? A calm day, focused on connection.
Exactly. My day was relaxing because I spent time with my family.
So the contrast in the adjectives there, happy and productive versus relaxing, that's really key for you, the listener, to notice.
Totally. You're actively choosing words that capture the texture of your day. Happy and productive highlights achievement. Relaxing highlights peace and connection. It's about making that conscious choice. It's way more powerful than just defaulting to fine or okay.
So the advice isn't just say a feeling, it's more like, reflect for a second. Was that meeting frustrating? Was that lunch enjoyable? Was the commute tiring? And then pick the word that fits best.
That's it, exactly. Don't just report the event, report the impact of the event on you. That little bit of honesty, that vulnerability, it makes the conversation human. It invites the other person to share too.
Yeah, it opens the door.
It's the difference between like small talk and an actual exchange.
Let's touch on vocabulary briefly. The sources aren't saying you need hundreds of new feeling words, right?
Yeah.
More like getting comfortable with a core set.
Precisely. Master a handful of high-impact adjectives. Tired, happy, productive, frustrating, relaxing, maybe fulfilling, draining. Using a few well is much better than having a huge vocabulary you use awkwardly.
Right.
And when you use words like fulfilling or draining, you're actually sharing something deeper, maybe about your values. It's interesting how a simple daily recap can reveal that.
That's a really good point. Okay, so we've covered the 3 core steps.
Yeah.
The chronological structure, getting the natural flow with connectors, and adding that crucial emotional depth with feelings. It feels like a really complete package.
It really is. Our synthesis confirms it.
Yeah.
To get past just saying fine and really connect, you need that solid structure first to hold the details. Then you need the flow, using those simple connectors like then and after that to make it smooth.
Right.
And you absolutely need the emotional depth, sharing feelings, using descriptions about how the day actually felt to you.
And putting those together, the sources show it hits 2 goals at once. You get great practice making coherent little stories in English.
Yeah, invaluable practice.
And you genuinely connect better with people. It's not just about language drills. It's about becoming a better communicator overall.
It builds empathy.
Yeah.
Which is really the foundation of any good interaction, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, thank you for diving into this with me. It feels incredibly practical. Hopefully everyone listening feels a bit more empowered now to ditch those conversational dead ends.
Yeah, hope so. And maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on.
Ooh, okay.
Next time you're talking about your day, really focus on that specific transition point between the afternoon, the main work or task part, and the evening, the winding down part.
Okay.
Think about the subtle difference in feeling when you choose your connector.
Mm-hmm.
How does using later, which feels kind of casual, maybe unplanned, change the vibe compared to using finally?
Yeah. Finally implies you were really waiting for the evening. Anticipation.
Exactly. It suggests relief or reaching a goal.
Yeah.
Later feels more like just time passed.
Mm.
Think about that subtle shade of meaning and how much power can sit in just one little word choice. It's kind of fascinating when you break it down.